Hey y'all, this is Coach Nichols, and today I'm going to show you the program that we're going to do this summer in the Ozark Catholic baseball program to get better and compete at a higher level next season. So, first, some goals for this program. We want to get bigger, faster, and stronger. We are a team that's undersized. We faced some teams, especially at the regional level, and whenever we played teams that were up a classification, that were just bigger and faster and stronger than us. So we're going to focus on the weight room with a lot of heavy emphasis on that to get bigger, faster, and stronger. We'd also like to increase our physical tools, and by that I mean our throwing velocity, our exit velocity, our bat speed, all those things that if you go to a showcase that they're going to be measuring, we're going to try to increase those. There's a reason that college coaches want players with standout physical tools and that professional scouts look for players with standout physical tools because physical tools are a good predictor of future success. If you throw the ball hard, you're going to miss bats. If you hit the ball hard, you're going to find gaps. So we want to do that. And we also want to increase movement efficiency. So I could say clean up mechanics, but the entire concept of mechanics is important, but everybody moves differently. So through video analysis, through movement screenings, we want to learn how your body moves most efficiently. There's not a cookie cutter way that everyone needs to throw and everybody needs to swing. There are certain parts of the swing that everybody needs to do well, certain movement patterns, but people are going to reach those points in a different way. So we're going to increase movement efficiency. And we also want to bulletproof our bodies and arms for next season. The best ability is availability. So we are going to get our arms stronger so that they can endure a higher workload. We're going to make our bodies stronger so that they can undergo the stress of a season. And you might ask how we're going to do this. We are going to first, we're going to have 3 day per week lifting, and we'll get more into that. But if you do any other programming that we do, whether it's our throwing or hitting, the lifting is mandatory. You can't just do our throwing program. You can do just our lifting program, but you can't do just our throwing program. You have to lift if you're doing anything else in our program. This will be offered both on site at the weight room by the field, as well as verified off-site. I know that we have players all over Northwest Arkansas. Some of you might live 30 minutes away from the field, and you might have a gym 5 minutes from your house. So if you have a way to verify with me, which will work that out, that you are doing your lifts on your own, I will give you our programming and you can do that off-site. But there will be on-site lifting available. In this lifting, there are going to be 3 distinct periods. We're first going to get bigger. We're going to focus on hypertrophy, higher rep ranges, trying to grow our muscles. And then we're going to make those bigger muscles stronger. We're going to have a block that we focus on getting stronger. And then we're going to make those bigger, stronger muscles more explosive by having a block that focuses on power. On top of that, we're going to do 3 day per week ballistic throwing training. A lot of different ways you could put this. When people hear ballistic throwing training, the first thing that people think of is weighted balls, and we will be doing that. But there's more to it than that. We'll be following an adaptation of a program called Hacking the Kinetic Chain, or a program found in the kind of resource library called Hacking the Kinetic Chain by Driveline Baseball. Versions of this are run by professional organizations, college organizations, high level high school programs. Um, and depending on your familiarity with weighted balls, if you've never used weighted balls before, you're not going to do the same thing that somebody who's been in our program is going to do. If you are a ninth grader or 10th grader and you're not very physically mature, you haven't spent much time in the weight room, you're going to be doing different stuff than a junior or senior who's spent time in the weight room and is more physically mature. We have different modifications to that program depending on where we think you are so that we don't run into injury. But many of these elements are already done in our program. So there's no need to fear if ballistic throwing training makes you think many different things. There's no need to fear. We do many of these elements already. We already do plyo care balls, long toss, Jaeger bands, shoulder tube, all those things. They're already done in our program. All we're adding are the weighted balls in this program. And we will also have 2 day per week open field for batting practice. So after a couple of our training sessions, we will have the field open for batting practice. I've got, I just want to get some hacks in. Those hacks will be with a purpose, but you shouldn't think of it as swing training. We're just getting swings in here. You might have a purpose. You should have a purpose, but it's not super regimented programming like we are with our arm care. For that kind of work, I'm opening myself up for swing design work by appointment. So if you reach out to me, we can set up a time to go over your swing in greater depth individually. I'm a blast motion certified coach, and we'll go over blast motion in greater detail later in this, but it's a resource we will be using if you do swing design work with me. So all these things are how we're going to achieve those goals of getting bigger, faster, stronger, increasing our physical tools, moving more efficiently, and bulletproofing our arms and our bodies. Now, summer has a distinct place in the year-round development program at Ozark Catholic. So you'll see here in this table, we're not going to spend too much time on this table, but our summer, our throwing this ballistic training. It's going to be high intent, trying to throw harder. And our hitting, we're trying to learn to move more efficiently individually in that swing design work. And as far as athleticism, we're building a base for strength that we will later build upon in our fall program. So fall, we won't do as much with weighted balls, but we will stick with high intent throwing with our plyo care balls, as well as long tossing. And then we will do more team programming for increasing bat speed and barrel quality with our hitting. And in the weight room, we'll focus on building on that base we built in the summer while also doing a lot more speed work. Then in the winter, we're going to keep long tossing, but we'll also start doing bullpens and working on pitch design. I know some of y'all have been wanting to add a second breaking ball, maybe tweak your breaking ball, maybe add another version of your fastball. So that's the time in the winter we're going to work on that. That's when we'll start getting on the mound a little bit more, integrating more on the mound what we've been building throughout the off season. And hitting, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, but we're going to enhance our swing decisions. We have been working on swinging harder or swinging faster, moving more efficiently, and making more solid contact. Now, in the winter, to prepare ourselves for season, we're going to focus on using those swings on strikes and taking the balls. We want to crush strikes and take balls. And then our athleticism, we're going to keep the intensity high, but we're kind of tapering towards competition mode in the winter. So we're going to do slightly lower volume while still keeping those neural adaptations we've built throughout the summer and fall. And then spring, we're competing and recovering. Um, we're going to stay in the weight room. We didn't do a very good job of that this past year. We're going to do better this coming season of staying in the weight room. Now, weekly schedule. We'll have a primary lift. This is going to be our heaviest lift of the week on Monday. And on Wednesday, it's going to be a tertiary lift where we'll be still doing the same movement patterns that we did on Monday, but at a lower intensity. And then Friday, it'll be a secondary lift. We'll be going heavy, but we will be doing different movement selections. So while Monday we might be doing a back squat, Friday we might be doing a front squat. So we're still going heavy, but we're doing a different movement on Friday. Our throwing schedule on Monday, we're going to call it a red day, and that's on site. Tuesday, you're off. Do not touch a baseball on Tuesday. Wednesday will be a blue day, and that will be on site at the field. Thursday will be our main velocity day. That is why our tertiary lift is on Wednesday. We're still getting in the weight room, but our intensity is low so that our recovery can go towards the throwing. That'll be done on Thursday. Then Friday will be a recovery. You can do that on site or off-site. And that will make more sense on this slide. So our red day, our blue day, our velocity day, and our recovery days will have some of the similar elements. As you guys know, we warm up to throw. We don't throw to warm up in our program. So all of these days, if you're touching a baseball, you're following the same warm-up protocol mostly. You'll be doing the full dynamic warm-up. You'll be doing Jaeger bands. You'll be doing shoulder tube. And then there will be slight variations with what we do with plyo care balls. While red, blue, and velocity will be doing full plyos. There might be difference in the set numbers, but we'll be doing reverse throws, pivot picks, walking windups, rockers, and roll-ins. On recovery days, we're just doing reverse throws and pivot pickoffs. And then red and blue, the difference. Red, we're doing both the extension and compression phase of our long toss series, and then blue is just extension, no cool downs, or no pull downs. Um, then our velocity day, we're doing the extension period or extension phase of our long toss as well as weighted ball pull downs. And of course, all of these we will be going through our full cool down recovery protocol. For hitting, like I said, we'll be doing batting practice on Mondays and Wednesdays after our lift. Swing design work available by appointment on Tuesday and Friday. Now, a little bit about blast motion. What is it? It's a sensor that goes on the knob of your bat that connects to a device, whether it's a phone or an iPad, and it will measure certain metrics like your attack angle or your hand speed or where where your point of contact is. It will measure all of these different things and for a good reason, because if we have these numbers, we can more accurately diagnose swing inefficiencies. We've been talking about movement quality and moving efficiently. We can more accurately diagnose where we're moving inefficiently in the swing. That way, we can give more specific drills, maybe verbal cues to clean that up. And we can get good feedback on if that drill work is working or if we need to try something else. So there will be different rates. If you're a basketball player who won't be going through our fall and winter programming, I would recommend the monthly rate. And if you're going through our fall and winter off-season program, I recommend getting the yearly rate. I have a team package, but we're not going to get team packages for guys that are only going to use it for 2 months because the team package is for the year. Contact me for more details. You might ask why no weighted bats? We did weighted bats last off-season or last summer. And the reason is we have those available, but our team summer programming is going to be focused on arm velocity. We want our recovery, we want all of our focus to be on arm velocity. That was one of the major things that held us back from competing deep this year, among other things, but that was a major factor. But we will be using them in fall and winter off-season program. It's not like we stop using weighted bats. We're just not running a weighted bat program as a team this summer. Leads us into recovery economy. It's very important for you to recover. If you don't take your recovery seriously, you shouldn't do this program. We are putting extra stress on our bodies, and that's why we are going to throw harder, get stronger, get faster. But that only happens if we recover from that stress. If we don't recover from that stress, we're going to get hurt. The National Strength and Conditioning Association recommends 0.64 to zero point 0.9 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Protein per day, I recommend that. It might be tedious at first to track how much protein, but you'll get a good feel for it over time. And pretty much everybody on this team needs to gain some weight. So we're going to eat above our maintenance calories in moderation. How do we find our maintenance calories? You might ask, what is maintenance calories? You can think calories are energy. And if we consume more energy than we use, we store that energy as extra weight. If we burn more energy than we consume, we use energy that's stored up and we lose weight. And if you consume your maintenance calories, Your calories in are the same as your calories out. You're going to stay the same weight. So we are going to try to eat about 500 calories more than our maintenance every day. And that will add up to about a pound a week. You can get a rough calculation of your maintenance calories through certain calculators online, but the best way for you to do this is to just pay attention to what you eat, step on a scale every day, and don't pay too much attention on the daily trends, but pay attention to the weekly trends. If at the end of the week you weigh 3 pounds more than you did at the start of the week, maybe you cut down how much you eat the next week. If you're losing weight, then maybe you eat some more. And if eating is really hard, a great way to add calories is drinking calories. Add a protein shake with your meals. Drink an extra cup or two of milk. Those are simple things that can help you get over that calorie threshold. And we got to hydrate. Not only because it's the summer in Arkansas and we'll be running this program and we'll be sweating a lot, but it increases our performance. We want to be performing at a very high level, especially on our velocity days, or else we're not going to get better. So we got to be drinking water. I also recommend creatine supplementation. It's the only supplement I'm going to recommend, but it's highly researched. It brings extra water into your muscles and it increases slightly your power output, your energy, especially once you start getting tired, once you've been fatigued in activity, it can help get you that extra rep or just last a little bit longer. It also increases some neural activity. So creatine is a very highly researched supplement, and I recommend 5 to 10 grams per day. And it's very cheap. You can just go to Walmart, get the cheap creatine monohydrate. And most important of all, you got to sleep. Sleep 8 to 9 hours. We are beating our bodies up in a calculated way, but we're beating our bodies up during the day. And the way that we get stronger is letting our bodies build itself back up. And we fuel ourselves to build ourselves back up by consuming our protein, by eating food, but that happens while we're asleep. So you have to get your sleep. If you don't sleep, you're going to slow your progress and you're going to speed run potential injuries. Some final thoughts. It's run a little long, but if we want to pass teams that are currently better than us, we have to outwork them. If we keep doing the same things that have got us fourth place in the conference and to be a first round regional team, we're going to keep being fourth place in conference and a first round regional team. If we want to be a state level contender, if we want to be a conference championship contender, we're going to have to outwork those teams that are currently state level contenders, conference championship contenders. And that starts right here in our summer programming. If you want the outcome to change, the process must change. If you want to go farther, you got to work harder or at least work smarter. And work wins.